when I wake up every single day, I immediately, before I even put my feet on the ground, and I am a child of the book, The Miracle Morning. I love Hal Elrod, and I like to set my day very strong. And one of the first things I do before I look at my phone, before I put my feet on the ground, is I thank God for the gifts, and I have gratitude, and I thank him for my life. And I ask him to help me touch one person that day. Before I set a foot on stage, anywhere, wherever we're speaking, I ask for the right proper words to help serve one person in the audience. And if that is done that day, then God's will was done, because I feel like if we can be that person for him, one person at a time, then we're doing the right thing.
You are now listening to the podcast where authors inspire listeners to become authors, the Going North Podcast. I'm your host, certified self-leadership trainer, best-selling author, and book enthusiast, Dom Brightman. And you're going to be listening to a different author that will inspire you to join the business of immortality, known as authorship. Now let the fun begin. New episode, new review to highlight before it starts, and this is a 5-star review titled Great Guess and Theme, and this is from Inge Sylvest, and they left a 5-star short review saying that this show gets to the heart of life and points us north. A must listen. Thanks a bunch for sharing your positive thoughts about the show, and if you got something that you want to say about what you like about the podcast, let us know by submitting a review via the Apple Podcast app or goingnorthpodcast.com, and we will highlight your review on a future episode. Now let's get on with today's episode. And today on the highlight reel builder for authors known as the wonderful Going North Podcast, we got another wonderful group of super special, awesome humans, a wonderful tag team, a wonderful dynamic duo. I should probably mention a best-selling bookcasting dynamic duo, because we got a powerhouse tag team champion, wonderful tag team of two powerhouse, wonderful ladies who are both keynote speakers as well as coaches, wives, and mompreneurs. So let's give it up for the I Decide darling duo of Erin Lopez and Lisa Cox. How you feeling, ladies?
Hello, we are
Hello
happy
there.
to be here.
Thank you, Dom. Excited to be on your podcast.
Yes, indeed. Excited to have you both. That's right,
Thank
indeed. One of
you.
those good old 2-on-1 occasions you love to see.
I love it.
Right, indeed. So, my goodness, either one of you can answer first. So, my goodness, how'd you both come together anyway?
Oh, I'll let Lisa take this one.
Well, we have been friends for many, many, many years. We met at a party where we were both working as entrepreneurs, selling our wares. And it was probably, oh gosh, Erin, 15 years ago. Is that what we've decided?
Maybe, yeah.
And we were in Springfield, Missouri, and I had been in my business for many years, and she had been in hers and other incredible businesses she'll tell you about. But do you ever just meet someone in your life, Dom, where you're like, this is a special person? And I was so impressed with her skills and her people skills and her communication skills. And I just felt like she was someone that I wanted to be connected to. And so we instantly became friends. And I always say I sort of stalked her because I wanted her in my business. I wanted to work with her. I wanted to be, I just really saw so much specialness in her. And so we just became friends, and we kind of followed each other's businesses for years. And finally, about 7 years ago, when we made a move to our company that we're in now, we partnered up and became business partners. And in that process, decided that we wanted to do something more. We wanted to create something that had a massive impact on the world and on all the people that we had met along the way. We knew there were so many stories out there, and we wanted to share those stories and just honestly do something outside of our income producing businesses. We wanted to do something that created a personal impact for women and men. And that's where our book kind of bloomed out of.
Perfect way to lead that in. So
Uh,
yeah, so it's been quite the journey. I mean, like Lisa said, I mean, it goes both ways, and nothing happens by chance. We met years and years back, and we were doing our own thing. We came together and have had massive success doing that. And then we had it on our heart one day that we wanted to serve the world in a different way, and that is how I Decide was born.
And Dom, we were actually sitting by a pool in Las Vegas. We were personal guests to a very small and private Tony Robbins meeting. And we were, sitting by the pool, getting some sun the day that we arrived, waiting for the meeting time to start and talking about what we wanted to do. And at that moment, we just made a decision that we were going to make it happen. We were going to find the right publishing company, and we were going to become authors and create our I Decide movement, which includes our podcast. But it was just kind of that time in our life where we just knew that it was time to jump in and use our skills and our tools and the things that we have learned over all of the years being entrepreneurs to give to others. And so that's how it happened. That's how we came together. And the book was literally published probably about 9 months after that moment. And it became a bestseller in 4 days. We're very grateful to our audience for that and the people that support us. And now we're just going forward with everything else. It's so wonderful.
Sweet. That's what I'm talking about indeed. I'm talking about indeed. Just love it when things align like that. Definitely indeed. Congrats on bestseller status. That's right indeed. And even starting a podcast shortly afterwards, joining the business of immortality in multiple ways. So my goodness, I guess that again, I guess I guess since Lisa started, I'll ask Erin. So how was it like putting the book together with you two teaming up like that? Like I'm sure it was probably some decision making involved in which stories to add, which ones to take out, and how much we want to actually keep for the final before sending it to the publisher before they make their cuts.
Oh my gosh. I mean, what a process it was. I mean, we'll never be able to replace that time. I mean, that was a time where we had so many stories to tell, and there were so many amazing people that, hence the podcast, we weren't able to feature all of them in our book, but we knew the backbones of our book and the I Decide movement of what it entailed from, the journey of who you surround yourself, how to make those decisions. But the process alone, oh my goodness. I mean, we live in different cities. So Lisa, like she mentioned, is still in Springfield, Missouri. I'm in Houston, Texas. So just like today, I mean, we've spent hours upon hours on Zooms together. I mean, we laughed until we couldn't take it anymore. I mean, we cried. Just the whole process of knowing that, a lot of people talk about not only doing what you're doing, Dom, of putting together a podcast, but also putting a book together. Just watching it all unfold was beauty in itself. We paired with the best to make it happen. We came to people we know in our lives that have stories of they have made a decision in their lives that changed everything. And we're so honored to have the contributors that we've had in the books and so many others that we weren't able to put in the book. And again, that's where the I Decide Darlings came, because there are so many other stories out there to share of people who maybe had a high or a low in their life where they made a decision. And sometimes it sounds so simple of making a decision in their life, but it changed everything. So this is our second book. We wrote another book together called Social Impact, and this was our baby. So it was a process, and a process that, we'll never take for granted, because it was nothing short of perfection. And to see it all come to fruition, like Lisa said, to become a bestseller and what it's doing now, it's hopefully a ripple effect in the world of helping others make a decision in their life to have the very best life that they deserve.
So I'm talking about indeed. Because you deserve it. For persons listening right now, wherever you are, you deserve it. That's right. Indeed, you definitely deserve it. But you got to decide first that you do, right?
True. Very true.
Absolutely.
That's right, indeed. So, what inspired the title? Is it because a lot of folks stay on the fence when it comes to decision making, or was it from the MLM where you had to metaphorically kidnap some people and have them to really take it all in and be like, all right, now taking this real presentation and to really decide to jump the fence here?
Oh, you're funny. Actually, it was inspired by many moments in our life where we realized that there were people that we were working with that needed to get out of their own way because they knew they needed to make a massive change in their life, and actually they didn't know how to execute, or they weren't willing to get out of their own way, and instead they self-sabotage what they were doing every day. And we saw it over and over. And yes, we saw it in business, in multi-level marketing and direct sales, in other businesses that we have and own. Over and over, people needed help getting to the point where they could make a decision that could change everything for them. And so in our book, we wanted to share how to get to that point, how to execute it, how to give them tips and tools to stay on track, how to get up when they fall down, and all the things involved in making a decision. A lot of people don't make a decision to make their life better until they're at a very low point, which is very sad to us. And we saw it continuously in our careers, and we still do. But also some people make that decision at a good point where they're like, I'm here and I want to get better. So there were all kinds of different moments that really inspired us. And the I Decide, we could see ourselves standing on a stage, empowering an audience of children, an audience of teens, an audience of women, an audience of men, an audience of seniors, standing up and saying, I decide to make my life stronger. And that's where the name came from.
Sounds like Erin's got something she wants to add. I saw you on mute.
Yeah.
Go ahead and don't be shy. Jump
No,
in.
no, who knows what'll happen in my background. Yeah. I mean, Lisa couldn't have said it any better. We almost didn't decide it, no pun intended. It was
Yeah.
decided for us that we knew. We knew it was the matter of taking, I decide, not the environment, not my past, not anyone else. We have the abilities to make the decision ourselves. And we came across and still come across, so many people in our lives that we both have been given the servant heart to help others. And it just, yeah, there was never any choice, really. I mean, it just, we knew it from that moment that it was I decide. And like Lisa said, had that vision of us empowering others and helping businesses, helping people, helping individuals, making that power statement to move forward.
Beautiful. Moving forward indeed. Moving forward indeed. So my goodness, so since you're both magical coaches, either one of you can start first. What would you consider your biggest lesson learned from one of your clients that made you a better coach?
I think the biggest lesson I've ever learned is don't be afraid to fall flat on your face and have the power, the will, and the drive to just scrape yourself back up. I've seen it happen over and over, and I've been there myself. And I think that's probably the biggest lesson that I could have ever taken in as a coach or as a person in life, but also the best lesson you can teach people, because within those deepest, darkest fall downs where you think you're never going to be able to get back up and have success again, that's where it really kind of creates your true powerful self. And it makes you into a stronger person that can withstand anything. And so within that low moment is where we find our strength. And I think that's the best lesson that anyone could ever understand, because people think, oh, I'm failing, it's not good. I'm like, no, it's good to fail, because that's what teaches you and gives you the strength to be better and to be stronger in the long run. And so that's probably mine. Erin, what's yours?
Yeah. And I think just to piggyback on that real quick, Lisa and I have always said we'd much rather choose to be on the roller coaster of life and in all aspects than the merry-go-round. And that roller coaster is ups and downs and twists and turns. And that is something that we both definitely feel very strongly about. I think for mine, it's really, going all in. I don't think that we can really be successful at anything if we're hesitant, if we have one foot in and one foot out. And I know personally, 10 years ago, I had never done anything like what, the business that we are in now. And thankfully I was surrounded by the right people to say, I've got you and I'll teach you. And I was willing and I was hungry and I was coachable. And I think when you're able to put those things aside of our ego and our experience and all of those things, like I was able to put those things aside and to be open to somebody teaching me, because I had no idea what I was doing. And fast forward, 10 years later, and we have both built these multi-million-dollar businesses, and it's because we went all in. And someone told me, who may or may not be sitting here, you can't chase two squirrels and expect to get one. And so that has always stuck with me. And there is no such thing as successfully multitasking. There has never been such thing as staying in my world. We're in the deep end. We can stay in the shallow end, and we can learn slowly, but success loves speed. And so we both feel very strongly about that. And again, we have years of experience now. And like Lisa said, the roller coaster of ups and downs that we now get to turn around and teach others what that looked like, but also what it entails to jump in the deep end.
There you go, jumping in the deep end. My goodness, two powerful lessons indeed. Funny enough, when Lisa was mentioning failure, and you just talking about going all in, it's like, have you two ever done improv together?
Yeah.
No, but we should.
Yeah.
We'd be very, we'd have fun.
It would be a hoot, to say the least. Yes.
It's been spoken. It will be a hoot. They decided it will be a hoot.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Right here with you.
That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. And definitely some good stuff too, and some solid reminders too. Because Tim, sometimes you tend to forget, like, oh yeah, failing's a part of life. Heck, even listening to a podcast yesterday where I forgot what it was, where the host was mentioning, like, hey, like winning covers a lot. You learn less from winning than losing. It's like when you lose, it's like, okay, so these are the adjustments I need to make. So would you consider your major setback? It could be life or business that actually was a setup for success.
You know what? I don't look at it like that. For me personally, I haven't had a major life setback that created my success. I do feel as if I was raised in an environment that my parents were very driven themselves, and they expected a lot out of us. We weren't very coddled. We were nurtured, but not necessarily coddled. They kind of like were the parents that were like, let me push you out of the nest really early and see if you fly. And I know that you will, because I believe in you. And they spoke the wonderful, kind words always to us. And they educated us, and they weren't the ones that were like, oh, you're the best in the world. Some of the parents these days, I don't mean to sound cruel, but it's like they make their kids feel like they're the only ones that's ever done it. And it's like, no, you're not. And my parents were not those parents. My parents were the parents that were like, Lisa, you go out there and you make your way, and you're going to have great success, and it's going to be hard, and you're going to have to work hard, and we're not going to give it to you, but you're going to earn it, and it's going to feel better that way. And that's really the way that I was raised. And I believe that was what probably propelled actually my sisters and myself to where we are today. All three of us very fortunately successful, but hardworking women. And it was because we had the belief instilled in us, but also like the push, go do it. You're on your own. We're not going to pay your way. Go and do it. And so that to me is what I think of when I think of what really propelled me to where I am today.
Yeah. I mean, what you need to know about Lisa and I is we're both very glass half full. I don't think either of us have really experienced anything that we have, but I think again, we look at them a little bit differently, that it has been part of our process and part of our journey that has helped us to the next level. And so, yeah, mine is a little bit, it's similar in the sense that, my parents my dad was very hardworking, and he instilled in me that, I could do anything. And I've never been one to wait for something to happen. I was always one that went after what I wanted. And, I moved around a lot, after college, and I I'm sure I experienced many quote unquote setbacks, but I looked at them as they were, bumps in my road that were, like you said, of the winning and maybe losing, but it was a bump that maybe, made me fall down and maybe reevaluate which way I was going to go or what I was going to do or how I was going to handle it. So, very, very, both of us, very blessed, very, just overjoyed with, who we are and what's happening and, what we get to give back to the world for sure.
Beautiful. So I'm talking about days. I'm talking about indeed. That's right. Those wonderful gifts of determination and grit. That's right, indeed. A dog determination. That's right, indeed. We will not stay in the pot, y'all. We will climb to the top. We'll rise to the top. Erupt like a volcano. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Spread the success everywhere. That's right, indeed. See the world as a giant bagel, and then the cream cheese is the message for no reason. That's right, indeed.
That's funny. Okay, I'll tell a story real quickly on that. So
talk about bagels.
Talk about bagels. Let's talk about bagels for a second.
Let's talk about bagels.
Let's talk about bagels. So, rewind many, many, many years ago, I was living in Chicago and working my dream job at a modeling agency, and I made no money. I mean, but I was where I wanted to be, is what I wanted to do. I was probably working a couple part-time jobs. And speaking of bagels, I tell this story in the book. I went to a bagel shop on a Saturday morning. That's what you do, right? I went to a bagel shop and I ordered myself a bagel, and guess what? I had no money. And, my card declined, and it was a big, what am I going to do with my life? And the fact that I couldn't afford a bagel was a little daunting to me, because I think that my parents, like Lisa's, said, go out there and fly and you're on your own. And I was working this wonderful job that I was starting at the very bottom, making, gosh, I think I was making $17,000 a year, and I was hostessing. I was doing all sorts of things, Dom. And I had big dreams and big goals, and I went and got to get a bagel. And guess what? I couldn't get a bagel. And it was a moment in my life where I remember thinking, it is up to me to do what I want to do. And it was one of those moments, like I said, that it was a wake up call that, I was doing all of these things and I was spinning, and I had to make some real decisions in my life of what I wanted to do. And fast forward years later, and I was running that agency and I could afford some bagels. And so, it was a moment. And sometimes we need those, of what am I doing? Where was my money going? I had all these jobs. Where was I spending it? I still to this day don't know. But yeah, that's my little segue for bagels and cream cheese for you.
I love it.
The cream rise to the top, as they say.
Well, yeah, many more to come after. Everybody's top is different. Let's be honest. Everybody's top is different.
Heck yeah, that's right indeed. Some are cherries, some are sprinkles, some are muffins. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
All the tops, 4 tops, music. That's right indeed. Hey, maybe start a nonprofit, bagels for everybody or something. The Bagel Promise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I love that.
We'll do that after we go improv.
There you go. That'll be the first stack. I decided to start a nonprofit about bagels. Bagels for everyone, even your unicorns.
Yeah.
That's right indeed. If you got a penguin, give them a bagel too. That's right indeed. Oh man, so my goodness. So what are y'all excited about over the next 6 to 12 months? You got the book out and done. Glad you did the audio as well, and you launched your podcast at the time of this recording with a nice intro episode and episode 1. So what's next?
Well, we have 9 episodes in the can. I mean, we are just babies compared to you, Dom. I'm so impressed with all of your episodes. Fabulous job. And thank you for having us on. We're very honored. We are very excited to interview the people we have lined up. We have a lot of stuff going on there. We want to bring everyone's stories to the world. So that is something that on our hearts is very exciting. We also have some ideas, because our movement for the I Decide is not just our first happy little guide to living your best life. We want to do an I Decide for some different categories, like possibly. I decide for teens. I decide for married couples. I decide for what else, Erin? Well, we have network marketers. We have to cover that because that's one of our expertises, but we also have other ideas that we've been kind of throwing around. And so we definitely have some work ahead of us. We still run our incredible, beautiful Live Clean businesses and are having massive success with that and enjoy working those businesses together. And then, of course, the number one in both of our lives would be our families. And so we have a lot to be excited about. We one of our main focuses is on helping people age healthy and helping them age gracefully and helping them feel good about themselves in all areas of their life, not just the way they look or feel on the inside, but just to kind of elevate their being. So every day we work on areas that we can hit people either with our social media sites and give them good just topics every single day to think about and sort of run things through their own mind on how they can be better and stronger for themselves. And so that's what I think about, are all those things every day that we're excited about. And Erin and I are like sisters, and we get to work on all these things every single day. Erin, sorry, I didn't mean to take away all.
Oh my gosh. No, I mean, I'm excited just hearing you talk about it all over again. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, Lisa and I, gosh, are we excited? We're so excited about the future. And this is just, we've only scratched the surface on the I decide, we every day we help men and women, learn how to have a business from home. We teach them exactly what we have done to be successful. We are launching new teams all over the world that are able to have success like we have had. I mean, if our name of the game is duplication, and if we can do it, our job is to turn around and teach others exactly how to do it. So, that is, in and day out, that is what we are so lucky to do. And we have, gosh, some of the best months ahead of us with our business. And yeah, like Lisa said, I mean, the I Decide movement is just starting. We are both speakers. And so we speak on stage to companies and women and children and, anyone who's lucky enough. No, anyone who will have us, anyone that, we can be put in our path to share our story, give them the tips and the tools of whether it be, our business side of things or making those decisions in their life. So the future is bright. We don't sleep a lot, but we're very excited about everything.
Yeah. Well, I guess it could be kind of hard to sleep with all the excitement going on, even though it's still a requirement. Got to keep that health in mind.
It is
Keep us healthy. We both get lots
part
of
of our good health. So
There you go. I decide to be healthy. I decide to be financially free. All the I decides.
Amen.
Certainly. Yeah. Might be, who knows? Might be similar to the Miracle Morning book series. Might have a whole tribe of books, maybe, with the different topics.
Yeah, we will.
That's right, indeed. Well, I heard an amen. If I'm not mistaken, you're both ladies of faith, if I'm not mistaken.
ladies of faith.
Ladies of
yes,
faith.
we are. Amen.
Yeah, good, sweet. So, whoever wants to go first, feel free to share a salvation testimony. I always encourage fellow Christians to share those because a lot of times most folks really don't get a chance to do that.
Oh, well, I won't take up too much time tonight. I mean, anytime we can
Just 10
share
hours.
about, yeah, right. Anytime we can share about, our love for faith. I was not raised in a Christian household. So I'm so honored to have gone through organizations such as Young Life that, brought me to find the Lord. And I will fast forward to, it has not been a perfect ride. I am married to a wonderful Christian man who leads our family in faith. And my true testament of faith is that, God will find you wherever you're at, and he's always with you. And like I said, I was not raised in a Christian household, and thankfully I was open to finding out what my true meaning in life was through him. And, Lisa and I, through our friendship, through our business, through our families, our blessing is to continue to bless others and to, share what is possible in his eyes. And, there's no other time in this world than we need more love and more faith. And we'll be the first to share that along the way.
I love that. I was raised by an atheist father and a very strong Christian mother, and I'm grateful for my experience. I raised my children in a Christian home, but my dad was a doctor, and he actually accepted the Lord into his life on his deathbed. And I say that only because I kind of feel like I saw both sides of things as I was growing up. And yet I grew up with so much faith in my heart. And every single day, when I wake up, I feel like my testimony is this: when I wake up every single day, I immediately, before I even put my feet on the ground, and I am a child of the book, The Miracle Morning. I love Hal Elrod, and I like to set my day very strong. And one of the first things I do before I look at my phone, before I put my feet on the ground, is I thank God for the gifts, and I have gratitude, and I thank him for my life. And I ask him to help me touch one person that day. Before I set a foot on stage, anywhere, wherever we're speaking, I ask for the right proper words to help serve one person in the audience. And if that is done that day, then God's will was done, because I feel like if we can be that person for him, one person at a time, then we're doing the right thing. So my testimony is that I just feel grateful for that gift, that even though my dad was an atheist and my mom, was an amazing woman of faith, but I came out of it knowing that I can't walk 1 minute of my day without the Lord. And I share that openly, even in business. And I love that in our business, we can talk about that. I think in the corporate world, I'm not sure you can. I'm not sure you can. I don't know. I've never worked for someone else. I've always worked for myself, but I love the fact that I can tell people exactly how I feel, and I can talk about my faith in my daily practices. And that makes me feel really good, because it makes me feel like I'm in alignment with who I am. And I'll find the right people to serve because of it.
Boom.
Yeah, so I'm talking about indeed. Pretty interesting indeed growing up. I guess both in a way. I guess secular
Mhm.
and semi-secular
Yeah.
household in a way.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It
Crazy.
was. Yeah, we're like sisters from another mother. And we both have 2 daughters, and we both have wonderful husbands. So we really are like sisters. It's good. I'm glad we found each other to start this movement together. It's been really special working with Erin, and she's my family. She's family now, but I do think that we're going to make waves in the world and be able to touch a lot of people with our book, I Decide, and with the future books and the podcast. So we hope that people will embrace it and enjoy it and get stuff out of it.
Yes, indeed. All the stuff, indeed. So, my goodness, since you both been on a bit of an interview tour all over the globe and spreading the good word of, hey, decide to be great, y'all. Stop being slothful. Like, hey, decide to be amazing. So, my goodness, so is there a question that you wish folks ask you more often when you're on the guest side of the game? I guess we'll start with Erin.
Oh my gosh. I think, a question that they could ask. That's a good one. I think I would say, what next? What do I do next? And I think that if people, I mean, like, that's when we get excited. What do I do next? And I think that's when, Lisa and I are both very good listeners. So we love to hear out people. And I think that there's so many layers and levels to what people say that, our time, in life and in business and everything has taught us to be very good listeners to people. And we love to listen. And I think that, I love to hear when people say, what next? What do I do next? And once we have been able to take a step back and listen to them, hopefully, we can give the next steps, whether that be financially or making the decisions, faith, whatever it may be. I think we're good at that. I think we're good at listening. And I think we're always hoping that people want more, for sure.
I think we've become extremely good question askers. That's why that's a tough question for
Yeah.
us. Because
we're usually the questions.
Yeah. So we typically answer a question with a question, and with what our mission is and what we're trying to do, helping people come to that decision to make their life better. I feel like most people inside know what they need to do, but they just don't have the strength to do it. And so I agree with Erin. I think the best question that we could probably be asked is, how can you guys help me get to my next level? what can you do for me? Or what can your book do for me? Or how can you help me rise up into the person I want to be? I think that's that's the best, because then we could share everything we possibly know and share our tips and our tools and our stories. And that's what, again, we're hoping for with the podcast, because, almost everyone you talk to has a story. They have a story of a moment that changed their life, and a decision that they made that took them down a different path. And these stories are just like heart-wrenching and phenomenal and happy and sad, and it's all over the board. And so there's a lot to be told. It's exciting. Feels good.
Feels good.
It does.
That's right, indeed. Feels good with all the O's. That's right, indeed. Well, hey, fun question for you. So, if the fabulous book I decide if it were a food, what would it be and why?
Oh my gosh. Lisa, what do you think? I mean, we know it's not a bagel.
Rainbow sherbet, something for everyone.
That's
a tough, a creamsicle. What makes you feel good in the summertime? A creamsicle. Am I so old that no one knows what that is?
Or a bum pop, like
a bum pop. Yeah. I mean, something that makes everyone feel good. Pumpkin pie, Dom, maybe some pumpkin pie. It's a feel good book. It's a happy book with some great stories. There's some emotional stories, but you leave on a good note. It's kind of like a girlfriend chat book or a girlfriend chat podcast, but it's in a book style. So let's go with pumpkin pie.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go pie a la mode. Have all the
oh, well, we should add the ice cream.
Yes. Good question.
That's right, indeed. Most folks don't think of that, but hey, we're devouring content. Might as well see it metaphorically as food. Why not?
I love it.
Always.
That's right, folks. So you should decide to eat dessert first in this case.
Life is short. Eat the dessert.
Yes.
That's right, indeed. Yep, that's right, indeed. Especially when there's a 1 foot tall brick wall involved. That's right. That's right, indeed. Very short indeed. Well, we're coming down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive. And I guess we'll have Erin go first, since Lisa gave us the whole wonderful buffet of desserts. And that is, if you wake up tomorrow and you were 25 again, but you're still in the current year, what advice would you give to yourself?
Oh, I go back to the whole just jump in, do it, work for yourself. I at that point in my life, I was working in the quote unquote corporate world. I would tell myself to, jump into this business that, like I mentioned before, I had no idea what to do, and, make your own future. I have 2 beautiful girls now that I've been able to raise from home while I'm working this huge business that has it's given us so much that we are beyond grateful for, from trips to memories to finances, to be able to pay it forward. I would tell that 25-year-old to figure it out, sister, and find somebody who's willing to show you what to do, because man, if I would have started when I was 25, we'd be on a whole different podcast right now.
I would tell myself, if I was 25, to have courage, to not worry about what other people thought about me. That was probably one of my hardest lessons growing up as a 6 foot tall girl in a world where people were tiny. I feel like girls are taller now, but I felt like I stuck out like a sore thumb, and I felt very awkward, and I didn't have a lot of courage. I was very shy growing up. And now I look back and I think, every single person out there has every gift within them that they need to do whatever they want to do, but they just have to find the courage to put themselves out there. And it's very scary to do that. It's scary to be an entrepreneur. Is it not? I mean, it's scary to do the things that you want to do sometimes, but I just wish I had more courage at a younger age. That's what I would tell myself.
So I'm talking about, indeed, have that courage, y'all. That's right, indeed, have that courage. That's right, indeed, the mighty vitamin C. That's right, indeed, vitamin C for your bravery, y'all. That's right, indeed, tap into it. It's good stuff. That's right, indeed, it's good stuff indeed. indeed. Well, the good news is we only scratched the surface, and folks probably only got, I don't know, 0.3% of your total 97.7% of all your freaking content. So for those who need to dive into the other 97 plus percent and keep up with your journeys, what's the best way for folks to do so?
Oh, we love this. Well, you can go over to iDecideBook.com and make sure you grab our book. We actually have a workbook that goes along with it that will help you on a 90-day cycle to help you make the decisions daily in your life. You can go to Amazon and type in I Decide with either of our names and it will pop up. We also have I Decide Book on Instagram. I'll let Lisa share with you. I have my own handle on Instagram, which is A Lopez Lifestyle. But you'll find all of this on I Decide Book, which we both do that. And you can find Lisa over on Instagram as well.
I'm over on Successful with Lisa, all spelled out, just like it sounds. And thank you for this, Dom. We appreciate
so fun
being here with you. Yeah, you're amazing.
Woohoo! Thank you. You're amazing too. Both of you.
Well, one of these days
Double A amazing.
We'll come back to you and we're going to have to hear your I decide moment in your own life, Dom, so we can share it with the world.
Woohoo! Because sharing is all the caring.
Absolutely.
Well, if you heard that right, folks, head over to the magical iDecideBook.com as well as all the wonderful, wonderful sites. We're going to put in the show notes to link to both Erin and Lisa's sites. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. It'll be E to the L from the C to the L. It'll be all the wonderful L's. It'll be like an LL Cool J. That's right, indeed. Except ladies will love the fact that they can decide to be cool and be cooler than Timberland. That's right.
Oh my gosh, I love it. You speak our language.
There you go. My love language is puns. I'm the sixth love language. But hey, before we find the seventh, any parting words before we close up shop?
Just thank you for being you, and for all the listeners for being with us today. And we thank you. And we know that one day you're going to have your I Decide moment if you haven't had it yet. And I believe that in that second or in that moment, you're going to make the right decision to make the changes that you need to make your own life better, and that you're going to get out of your own way and make your own life better. And we believe in you for that. And I want you to have courage to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us today. Thank you for letting us share a bit of our journey. And we want to hear others' journeys as well. So thank you so much. You've been such a delight and a pleasure, and congratulations on all of your success.
Yes, Dom. Thank you.
If you're hearing this part of the episode, that means you're one cool individual. Thanks a bunch for tuning in, and if you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to share it with at least one other person in your network. Bonus points for 3. And be sure to check out the backlog too while you're at it, because there are hundreds of wonderful episodes to choose from as well.